When a beautiful home becomes a mass grave, the spirits are left to wander for years to come. Welcome to Paranomenon. I'm Devin.
And I'm Caden.
So, that's funny. Um, this took forever. Testing the mics and everything.
Going through some growing pains with our audio setup.
Yeah, and I'm an impatient dickhead, so I'll admit that. I am.
Thank you for validating.
I hate it that I'm impatient, but I have my flaws to work through. Um, Great week or weeks. I know this will come out next Friday because we record on Sunday. So we talk about our weeks, but what day is today that we're recording this?
It's Sunday.
No, what is the date? Like date, the
The
number.
the
Oh,
ninth.
you don't even
I
know.
don't even know.
You don't even know.
I
And
don't.
I'm not gonna close my notes over
It's
that.
fine.
But we are recording a week before this comes out, and we've had a couple weeks, um, because we recorded the last two far in advance, because that's how good we are. Because we're gonna want to take breaks. Um, I recently got a tattoo. It's great. I'm excited about it. It's just really dry all the time. So I gotta keep putting lotion on it. I hate it because it's itchy. And I got a butterfly. And the thing about my tattoos, they don't mean shit at all. I just got a butterfly because I thought a butterfly looks cool.
So Devin recently just started getting the tattoos. He prior, like all 34 years of his life, has been completely like clean slate. And he just started getting them at 34. So he decided it would be a good idea to start with his hands.
Yeah, because I wear long sleeve stuff and I want people to see that I got ink. I like to show off. I like validation.
It's really funny because everyone who has, like, seen him since he's gotten there, like, "You started with your hands?"
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't
Well, I
understand
think
why
you
that's wild.
understand now. So his first one, he was like, "Oh, that didn't hurt really bad."
Oh, the second one hurt like hell. And the thing about getting tattoos is I don't know, I understood this, I knew this, but I didn't think about this, like, um, I kinda forgot that lotion was actually used for dry skin
Oh,
and
yeah.
not just other things, so I kinda feel weird about carrying around a bottle of lotion everywhere I go. I'm like, "What do they think I'm doing in the bathroom?"
Take your big bottle of lotion into work and everyone just stares.
Yeah, like, what do they think I'm doing in my office? And I'm just greasing up my butterfly.
Okay, please stop.
Well, that's funny because my other tattoo is an eye, so I'm just greasing up my one eye,
Okay, don't ever say that again, please.
greasing up the old Cyclops.
Okay, okay.
You're gonna do Titans eventually. Are you gonna talk about Cyclops? The
I
Cyclops?
I don't know, probably.
Cyclopi? Cycli? What is the plural of
I
Cyclops?
don't know, you look that up
I'm not
for
gonna look it
well,
up. It's
no.
a Cyclops. Cyclopses. That's what we'll call them. What else about our past weeks? Oh, yeah. Why am I doing all the talking? You could talk.
You're just on a roll. I don't
You wanna
wanna.
talk about our commercial shooting? Because you did a really good job at running those things.
Do you think so,
You
really?
you're I didn't know this about Caden in the whole God, how long have we been together? Like 12 years? I always forget. 12 years I've been with her, she's always said, "Oh, I'm not creative at all. You're the creative one." But then she comes up with these amazing promotional ideas for the podcast. Like, we got, 2 more promotional videos coming out where our friends acted in the commercials. Um, talk about your
I'm just
experience.
waiting for you to stop
Okay,
talking.
it was hilarious, it was a great time.
Yeah, so, I I'm glad that you think that they're good. I just tried my best, but yeah, we have 3 total, like, skit promotional videos. Devin and I are not in them, which was intentional. We didn't wanna be in them, but, they're really funny. The first one's out already. Uh, it's about a ghost in a haunted condo. The next one's gonna drop.
Don't tell them what it's gonna be.
I'm not gonna tell 'em what it's gonna be, but
They'll
it's a continuation, so it's a three-part series so far. We may add additional eventually, but the next one comes out, well, as actually, it'll already be out as you all listen to this, so it would've came out this week. So I'm gonna drop that probably on Wednesday, and then this episode will come out on a Friday, so hopefully, if you haven't already seen it, go give them both a watch. They're really funny. I think they're really funny. Our friends
I
did a great
we
job.
had fun making them.
I think so too. We learned a lot,
Yeah.
like a whole lot. It's hard. I have such a respect now for content creators. I never realized how hard it was to do that, like to come up with a video concept and record it and then edit it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, these are the first things we've written, directed, and created. So
Well, that's not true.
yeah, it
So
is.
Devin
We haven't done
had
videos.
not video, but you did have a podcast many moons ago, and it was a scripted podcast. So you wrote and directed and acted in that.
Yeah, it was rough, but we had an amazing producer.
We did.
Rest in peace, Francis.
Rest in peace, Francis. Yeah, that was uh, our sound guy.
Our
He,
my, like, really good friend. I love that guy.
yeah,
Miss him every day.
yeah.
Really good guy, good human being. So, do we have anything else to talk about? Personal. Oh yeah, so this comes out Friday. So Saturday, the day after this comes out, we're bringing a puppy home.
We've been talking about that pretty
L-
consistently, but
Little Crowley. Well, he's big. He's getting
did you
big.
just reveal the name? Are we sticking with it
Yeah,
now?
we're sticking with
We're
Crowley.
sticking with Crowley.
I
So
mean, we've gone through so many name ideas, but we're settling on Crowley.
no, I think it fits him. Honestly, it feels natural.
I don't know, something about his eyebrows. He's got little eyebrow patches of color, and he just looks like, um, a Crowley, I guess.
He does remind me of, so if you all have ever seen Supernatural, there's a demon named Crowley, and that
W
actor has really expressive eyebrows. That's not what he's named after, but I've also been like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, he for people that don't know, he's named after Aleister Crowley, the magician, the vilest man alive at one time. Um, don't agree with him completely, but he was a big figurehead in the magician movement as a magician.
So, this is the compromise. Devin really wanted to name him Alistair, but I stand on the fact that that is a cat
Yeah,
name.
it's a cat's name.
That's a cat's name. It's not a dog's name. So, Crowley it is. We're excited. I actually lucked out really big today at PetSmart and found one of those very large travel crates, the completely encased like plastic ones. They usually run between like 170 to like $400 depending on the brand. But I got it for $85. It was on sale. So I'm really excited about that. That's kind of a mundane thing to be excited about, but it really got me.
We're adults now, so we get excited about mundane things.
That made me super happy. We're also getting ready to, start his training, so that'll be good.
Yeah, we're getting him professional training.
We need it.
Yeah, Caden needs potty training still, so, we're not gonna leave it in my hands.
Let's see what else. So, okay, so let's talk about launching the podcast. We have been working incredibly hard on promotion.
Well, I haven't. Caden's the mastermind behind that. I just show up and sound pretty.
Devin's really good at research and like topics, but he is going to be more involved in the business
Fuck, I
aspect of
am.
business.
Oh, I just used my only F word.
Yeah,
Okay.
love
Yeah,
that for you.
fuck, I am. I ain't doing that shit.
Love that. So, we've been working really hard at promotion and trying to get the show out there. We've had, I would say, some good volume as far as people who have seen it. We hope they like it. We haven't gotten any like nasty comments. So, if you're listening to this and you have any feedback, definitely let us know. But we're excited. Right now, we just want people to listen. So, if you haven't shared the podcast, and you like it. If you don't like it, don't share it. But if you like the podcast and you want to help us out, share the Spotify link or the YouTube link or the Apple Podcast link. You can get links to all of those things on our website. So I'm going to plug it here. It's www.paraphenomenonpodcast.com. Our website has links to all of our social media and our streaming platforms. It has a link to our Patreon, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. And it has a link to contact us. Eventually, we'll have, when we get to merch, there will be links to our merch, blog posts. For now, it's mostly just our socials and where you can find us and find the podcast. It's my first time building a website, so please forgive me if you hate it, but I'm trying to learn.
I threw some creative input, you know?
Yeah,
She asked me some creative opinions and
absolutely.
used them surprisingly. We started a Patreon and we're
Yes.
really excited about it. I got some creative input, the disciples of Caligula. Caligula is just a badass. He's laying right next to me, my best friend.
The cult of Caligula.
Yeah, if you join, you're a disciple of Caligula, but it is the cult of Caligula, which is a play on cult of Cthulhu because I love Cthulhu and those mythos. And we're gonna start putting out some more content on the Patreon that I'm excited about putting on. I draw, I do I do the art for the podcast, so I'm gonna be drawing some designs.
He's gonna work on some merch specifically for our higher tier. They're gonna get, like, a welcome gift. It'll be something that Devin's created, mostly like a sticker, or like a magnet or something smaller.
Oh, I can draw a sticker.
Yeah,
Like, that's not a big
just
deal.
something that will
I
be
thought I was gonna have to draw a
completely
lot more.
well, you are,
Oh,
eventually.
damn.
So, just something, as a thank you for joining, but there are really awesome perks for all of the tiers. Our Patreon's gonna include a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
And we're gonna send you a free kitten.
A free kitten.
A free kitten.
No kitten. Sorry, we can't do that. But Caligula would if he would like it, but
If Caligula had kids, he'd get rid of every single one.
super excited
Caligula
for that.
doesn't pay child support.
He does not.
Yeah, he just meowed.
Yeah,
I don't think you all can hear it,
probably not.
but, yeah, he just
He disagreed.
he just agreed. He just said something.
You'll get early access to the podcast. We post that on Patreon 24 to 48 hours before it hits any other platform.
Yeah, we
So,
got one person that signed up,
yes,
and
Nana X3.
yeah, I love Nana X3 for signing up, and, um, they told us they were so excited to listen to the 2nd episode early,
Yes.
and that I was like, "Oh, well, that's nice,"
Yeah.
and she thought it was funny.
She did. She enjoyed it. Banana X3, thank you so much for subscribing. You're the first Patreon subscriber. If you all would like to be in Caligula's inner circle, and also a big perk, if you sign up for the second and the third tier, you get your name listed on our website under Caligula's Investigation Bureau as an official member, and you're there for life. So it kind of is a homage to you all supporting us. Patreon proceeds go directly to us, which goes directly to Caligula.
Uh,
So, because we work for him, he's the manager. So, go sign up if you haven't already. And again, like we said before, we want to hear from you. So, what type of content do you want from us? We have a YouTube channel. We're going to have some visuals up there eventually for some other things, but we want to hear from you. So if you go to our website, again, that's www.paraphenomenonpodcast.com. There's a contact us form. You can email us directly. Any ideas for content or future stories? We also want to hear your stories specifically. We really want to do like a listeners episode. So send us your spooky stories, cryptid, alien, whatever you have.
so today we have a special treat. It's like a local thing for us because of where we live. We're doing I'm doing the story of Fox Hollow Farm.
Which is really exciting and really relevant because there was actually an update on the case, but I'll talk about that
Please,
later.
yeah, I don't know anything about it, and I did research for this, so please tell me. Um, so I've been advised by our producer to give a trigger warning, because this story does involve suicide, and the story does involve a lot of victims. So I left the names of the victims out. Um, I Well, I did put one of the names of the victims in that survived the attack, but please respect the privacy of the current owners. Respect the privacy of the victims. All this can be found online anyway. Um, but yeah, they're still finding bone fragments. So don't go to Fox Hollow Farm and mess with the area. Just leave the owners alone.
Yeah, it's still an active crime scene, and a lot of the victims of this specific crime still have not been identified. So, just again, like Devin said, be respectful. There are families that are still grieving the loss, and families who are still wondering if their missing loved one was a victim of this particular person. So, there's some really interesting paranormal aspects that I'm super excited to hear about. So,
I mean, the ghosts that are reported in these stories kind of like just the description kind of freaks me out. So you're gonna gasp a lot, Caden. You're gonna freak out. I want to hear your reactions. I want the audience to hear your reactions because I would shit myself. Like literally shit myself. Okay, so we're going to start off talking about Herbert Richard Baumeister, where all this started. He was an American businessman and suspected serial killer because we never got a confession out of him, who came under suspicion of murdering over a dozen men in the early to mid 1990s, most of whom were last seen at gay bars in central Indiana. So he would go to gay bars, and that is where he would find his victims. He would usually invite them back to his place for a swim and his indoor pool. Police ultimately found the remains of 11 men, 8 identified at the time that I did this research, on Baumeister's property. When the police stopped him while he was parked on the side of the road in Canada on the run, they saw stacks of VHS tapes in his back seat. But when they discovered his car after his suicide, there were no tapes in the back of his seat. So he disposed of his home videos.
So, just to kinda clarify on that, it is suspected that he actually recorded his crimes. They found evidence in the basement of cameras
Yeah.
and a setup to where there could be tapes to, store that data, so that's what Devon's referring to. They believe that some of those crimes were actually recorded, and when he fled, he took that with him and destroyed that evidence.
Yeah. And while he was on the run, they weren't searching for him necessarily, but somebody stopped him.
He left when they started basically, like, questioning,
Yeah.
and so when he got wind that they were gonna search the property, he fled to Canada, and, by the time that they found, the remains of some of the victims, he was already gone, and, when they finally found him, he was deceased, so
I'm just asking for a friend when I ask this. How far is it to Canada? Like, if somebody did a crime and had to flee the United
Indiana's
States?
actually not that far from Canada. So, northern Indiana has a border with one of the Great Lakes, and that Great Lake is across from that is Canada. Indiana also borders Michigan, which Detroit actually has it's an underground tunnel that goes underneath Lake Michigan, and that's the border to Canada. So,
Really?
yeah, we're not that far from Canada. It's probably like a 10-hour drive.
Because I know we're just 6 hours from Detroit because I go there for
Yeah,
work.
it's like maybe like an 8 to 10-hour drive from here to Canada.
Okay. Okay. Just duly noted that I could get to Canada quicker than I could get to Mexico.
Yeah,
Just always a backup plan,
always wanna have your ducks
just
in a
in
row.
case. Yeah. Um, he committed suicide shortly after the warrant for his arrest was issued. In the account of the person who found Baumeister's corpse in the Canadian park, he thought he was a mannequin at first when he found the body.
Like, he didn't think it was a real.
Yeah, he didn't think it was a real. And I'm not saying funny as in laugh out loud funny, but
Yeah,
funny as in weird. Considering Baumeister was a really big fan of mannequins because he had them standing all around in different poses in his pool area. Um,
that's such an odd, like,
d-
interest.
Dude, if I went back to like, I've been to a lot of gay bars, but if I've never been picked up at a gay bar, but if I got picked up and invited back to a house, um, from a gay bar and I showed up and there were mannequins everywhere, I would be out immediately. Um, Not saying anything bad about the victims, just saying,
Well, where would they have gone, though? Like, think about that
"Oh,
for a
yeah,
second.
no,
'Cause, like,
it's kinda
he picked
isolated."
them up. He drove them to his house, which is isolated, it's in the middle of the woods. This is in the '90s, so, I mean, there were cell phones, but they weren't readily available. There wasn't Uber. So these people, they were, like, stuck there if they even got weirded out, and most of them probably didn't because he was a really good actor. If you do any research in this case, a lot of people were surprised because he had a very like, a persona of being a person of high standing. He had a wife and a family, and he was a successful business owner, and so people didn't think and he seemed to be a nice person, so people did not think right away, "Hey, this guy is a serial killer." But, you know and we're not gonna I don't think you're gonna get into a whole lot of his background, right?
Oh, no, I am.
Oh, you are? Okay, so I
Um,
won't say too much more then.
so we're kind of, I'm kinda gonna be hopping around
Okay,
on this one, so a nonlinear storytelling style that I'm experimenting with.
okay.
When I go to speak at rehabs or, support groups, I typically tell my story in addiction, in a nonlinear fashion
Okay.
as I relate to situations that have came up in my recovery journey. Oh, because 'cause I'm a recovering addict alcoholic. Don't know if you all know that.
But
Fun
you
fact
did.
about me, you know that now. Take it how you will, I'm proud of it. Okay, so this guy was found wearing Docker shoes according to the interview on the documentary of the guy that found Baumeister dead, and I gotta say, I wouldn't be caught dead in Dockers.
What's wrong with Dockers?
I'm just pretentious about the shoes I wear,
You're
the clothes I
Devin's a
wear.
fashionista. If you ever message him run
Mess
into him in real life
or
or see him
massage him.
or massage him.
I it's just when you said message, I thought of massage.
Okay, well, nobody should be
I like
massaging you.
massages. Uh,
Paid paid massages.
I don't pay for nothing.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, so
Dine
Devin
and ditch.
oh,
Dine and ditch the massage.
okay.
Um, um, I sleep in suits. Like, I wear suits all the time. Either suits or sweatpants, no in between. There was a gunshot wound in his head, but according to the interview that I saw in the documentary, you can saw I believe it's called, The Horror of Fox Hollow Farm. It was on Tubi, but you can also find it on YouTube. Really hard to watch. Um, but according to the person that found his, dead body, there was a gunshot wound in his head, but there was no gun around on the scene.
Mm, that's suspicious.
Yeah, so take that with a grain of salt. It's just what I saw in the documentary and what was said. So I'm taking a lot of information from different sources. Like, it was hard to find a good structured story about the ghosts experiences.
Mhm.
So I had to watch several documentaries, several YouTube videos, had to read several articles. It was rough doing research on this. Um, so also they found two strangled seagulls laying next to him.
What an odd thing.
Yeah, no, so personally, I can relate to this. I think this is the only thing that I can relate to Baumeister on it, but I hate seagulls. I hate birds. Um, Canadian geese, hate them. They're, like, so confrontational. They think they're so much better than you, better than me. Direct eye contact is really confrontational to me. Um, so yeah, seagulls suck. So I imagine he was like, I'm gonna take these filthy flying rats to hell with me, before he killed himself.
I just wanna know what happened in his life that caused such a
Oh, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you, he suffered from a lot of mental illness, but I can tell you that I've met a lot of people with the same mental illness that didn't kill anybody or would not hurt anybody. So I want to say that his mental illness alone does not explain his what he did.
The crimes that he
Yes.
committed.
As somebody that suffers from mental illness, I hate the stigma that people give mental illness. But I do wanna mention it because it's part of his life, and we give some details here.
So if the gun was never found, they found him, he was deceased, he had a gunshot wound to the head, but there was no gun. How do we know that he allegedly committed suicide?
Oh, I'll get to that.
Okay.
And don't forget the Dockers. He was wearing
And he was
Dockers,
wearing Dockers, that's the cardinal sin right there.
and I believed he was wearing khakis. See, I don't trust anybody that wears khakis on a regular basis unless they're form-fitting. Form-fitting khakis, but pleated khakis, absolutely not. Okay, So, seagulls suck. Sorry to go on a tangent. Seagulls suck. He doesn't confess to any of the murders in the suicide note. So that's how we know he committed suicide is based on a suicide note. He just blames his failing business and his failing marriage. So since his death, people have come to believe that he was responsible for the murders of 12 other men along Interstate 70 in Indiana and Ohio, which occurred from the early 1980s to the early 1990s. And he went as he was labeled as the I-70 Strangler at that time.
I actually, I think that tracks, and they actually believe that the I-70 Strangler is probably responsible for a lot more than just those 12.
Is
Uh,
this new development that I didn't see? Is
and
this
this is no, but this is just, like, specifically, like, the I-70 Strangler cases, so, like, there's a lot of disappearances along I-70, and they think that he may have been responsible, but it's interesting because once he purchased this property,
that's when
those
they
that's
stopped.
when they
Ye
stopped.
I actually was gonna say that. Law enforcement officially named Baumeister as the prime suspect in the I-70 Strangler. Now, Caden, how often do we drive I-70? Because I
Oh,
imagine it's a lot.
fairly common. Your sister
Oh,
lives in
I was
Northern
just
Indiana.
you were just saying disappearances along I-70, and then I was like, "Oh my god, what if something happens to us?" But then I realized, wow, Baumeister's dead, so we don't have to worry about that.
Well,
Or are they still happening?
we're not a true crime podcast, however, one of my
I'm
other, like,
curious.
interests are true crime, so maybe one day we'll have a
Just
true crime.
tell me,
So,
are there
like,
still
the FBI
disappearances?
is actively looking for, like 100 truck driver serial killers that go along these interstates, like I-70, and, there's another big one that's, like, a southern, like, that goes toward Oklahoma.
Are they a guild of serial
No,
killers?
but so what they say is that a truck driver really meets the profile of a serial killer because think about it, they travel everywhere,
Yeah.
they have anonymity, they're not in the same place ever, but they see a lot of different people.
Oh, you know what's funny? Um, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but because I can relate to this. You know what was the single hardest word to learn to say when I got sober?
What was that?
Anonymity.
Anon
You said anonymity? You said anonymity, and I wanna tell you that when we do the readings, I've finally got the hang of reading anonymity,
Anon
anonymity, and
anonymity.
it's so hard, because, I mean, I guess I don't know if everybody in sobriety goes through this, but in my sobriety, one of my triumphs starting out, like, 5 years ago was pronunciating anonymity correctly.
Pronunciating?
Pronunciating.
Pronouncing.
Pronouncing.
Pronunciating is not a word.
Pronunciating.
That's not a word.
Okay, God, well, I can say anonymity at least. At least I can say that.
Truck drivers meet that criteria, and so there's a ton of missing persons and, like, found deceased persons along these interstates, and so there's, like, it it's a rabbit hole, so I'm not gonna go any deeper into it, but just know that, no,
We're not safe.
we're not safe on the interstate, and if you are traveling specifically, and especially if you are a woman, you need to be hyper aware of your surroundings, and you need to be very mindful when you're at, like, truck stops, especially, uh, and rest areas. So, I won't go into that because again, we're not a true crime podcast, but it's fascinating. So, yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm glad you told me that, and, we're actually doing a service by warning the public.
Yeah,
Don't hitchhike,
don't hitchhike.
especially on I-70.
Mhm.
So, oh, yeah. According to investigators, bodies related to the Strangler case stopped being found in 1991 after Baumeister purchased Fox Hollow Farm. So you already brought that up, Caden. Good job. Sweet. We're on the same page. which he would use as a burial site for his following victims. And let me just say, I don't have a problem making fun of a serial killer, but he did a poor job of burying the bodies. Very poor.
Yeah.
He just did not care. So, and I want to say that I don't know if I wrote this in the notes, but it's speculative that he was into erotic asphyxiation, but then just got too carried away, killed his first victim, and kind of got a thirst for murder afterwards.
Like, he just liked it.
Yeah, he just liked it more than the erotic asphyxiation.
See, I don't know. Just
That's just a theory.
based on his childhood and, like, all the stuff that you're about to talk about probably, maybe.
You think it's kind of like kind
I
of
think
tried?
I think he was a sociopath, personally.
Oh, yeah, he was. Um, I mean, I don't think he was diagnosed, but it's speculated.
Well,
Um,
go ahead and talk about his childhood.
so actually, that's kind of funny. That was a great segue because my next notes are. Oh, you're reading my notes. Oh, I forgot. That makes sense. Baumeister. I thought it was just a coincidence. I thought we were just because we're soulmates. I thought we were just
Synchronicity?
yeah, we could just read
So,
each other's
it's a
minds.
little of both,
Okay.
but I did glance down at your notes and saw that you were about to talk.
Just so the audience knows, me and Kaden are soulmates, and we read each other's minds a lot of the time.
It's really bad for
It's
him.
so awesome. Oh, well, I think it's awesome because when there's tea or gossip or anything, because we don't gossip and we don't have tea or whatever, but we do with each other. We tell each other
We
everything.
do,
So, you tell me a secret, it's a secret I'm gonna take to my grave,
except for me.
except for telling my wife. Like, we gossip about everything. So Baumeister's childhood was reportedly normal, but he began exhibiting antisocial behavior by the onset of adolescence. Friends later recalled his urophilia and how he used to ponder what it would be like to taste human urine.
Oh, that's some R. Kelly type of.
I've never thought about what urine tastes like.
No.
Wait, no, I have. Um, I just never
Oh,
I've never wanted to drink urine, but I've never tasted urine, but I mean, the thought crossed my mind,
do you remember that conversation we had that sometimes inside thoughts need to stay inside?
but, like, there's that turn of phrase where, "Oh my god, that tastes like piss," and
Yeah.
then I'll think, "Oh, I wonder what piss tastes like,"
I mean,
but
that's valid.
I won't actually
Act on that.
fantasize about drinking it.
There is a key distinction between a curiosity and
Just
a
the thought,
compulsion.
just a thought,
Yeah.
or, "Hey, that tastes like shit," and I'm like, I don't ever wanna taste shit, but, like, I'm curious, what do you mean by that? What does
How
that
do
taste
you
like?
know
Yeah, how do
what
you
should.
know? Exactly. How do you know that that's bad? It could be like Tootsie Rolls.
Oh god.
I like disgusting Caden, so you guys are along for the ride. Um, so he also enjoyed urinating on teachers' desk,
Uh-huh.
which I can get behind. There's a lot of teachers that I wanted to piss on their desk. But he also liked playing with dead animals, and I love animals, so I don't even like seeing dead animals. In his teens, Baumeister's behavior caused his father to have him submit to mental examinations. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and antisocial personality disorder.
So he was a diagnosed sociopath.
Oh, yeah, I guess
Yeah, antisocial personality disorder is the official and medically correct term for a sociopath. There's no like diagnosis of
s
sociopath any longer, but um that is what that is.
but this problem is that he received no further psychiatric treatment. And I am a big supporter in mental health. I
Yes.
am really big into I really, I could use this platform to advocate for mental health
Yeah.
because, um, the medicine kept me going and kept me alive, but therapy and a 12-step program is what helped me heal completely. So the medicines that you need to take are important, but it's also important to work on yourself and heal from trauma.
Yeah.
It's doing the work is imperative because the medicine can only take you so far.
I love that.
For me, personally, I'm just speaking on me, and it took me years to learn that. I learned it the hard way. I had to get really miserable before I learned that. So, this person didn't receive mental health treatment, and again, I know people with these same illnesses, and they have not committed murder.
Right. So,
So, I'm not saying that these mental illnesses result in a murdering person.
no, but they are contributing factors potentially to how somebody could spiral. Somebody who wasn't given help,
Yeah.
who didn't take care of their mind, and it could give you more proneness to committing a violent crime.
Yes.
And that's a statistic. Not to say again, like Devin said, we know plenty of people who have these types of diagnoses and they are the kindest,
Very.
would not hurt a person. So I think personally, I think it's not just mental illness. I think it's just like accumulation of factors.
Yeah.
It's
That we don't even know
this,
about.
it's probably childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Like you talk about like nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think
We're not
no,
psychologists.
we're not
Right.
psychologists, but
So we don't
it's
know.
I don't think mental illness was the only factor. I
Right.
think it's just a barrage of factors, and some people are just wired different.
My point is you can be mentally ill and not
A murderer,
a murderer. So
but usually
or
murderers are
violent
mentally ill.
or dangerous.
Right.
And there are murders that aren't mentally ill. Okay. Um as an adult, he drifted through a series of jobs marked by a strong work ethic, but also by increasingly bizarre behavior. So I'm curious if he ever drank urine on the job. Baumeister married a woman in November 1971. I'm not going to say her name out of respect. It was a they had 3 children. She later said they had been sexually intimate only 6 times in over 25 years of marriage.
Oh, wow.
She never saw her husband nude. 6 months after the marriage, Baumeister was committed to a psychiatric hospital by his father for 2 months. And his wife said he was hurting and needed help. He eventually founded the successful Save-A-Lot thrift store chain in Indianapolis in 1988.
Not to be confused with the Save-A-Lot grocery store
Right.
chain,
Yeah.
because when I first heard about the story, I was like, "Oh my goodness," but they're not the same thing.
It would be really cool if it was the same thing, like, if it's a store we went to.
It's not though, thankfully, but yeah.
I mean, not cool, but, as a true crime person,
Yeah.
be interesting if we found out that the CEO of Best Buy or the or something like or Walmart or whatever turned out to be a murderer.
We won't get on that topic anyway,
Right. Yeah, because we
he's
will disappear.
yeah.
In May 1988, Baumeister purchased Fox Hollow Farm. Is that 1988? That doesn't
Yeah, 'cause he started committing the crimes in '91, right?
Okay, yeah, I thought he purchased it in 91. Okay. In May 1988, Baumeister purchased Fox Hollow Farm, an 18-acre property built in 1978 off 156th Street and the Monon Trail in Westfield, Indiana. So we have been by there. We have family that live in Indianapolis, and I also work, um, every other week in Indianapolis. In 1994, Baumeister's son had been playing in the family's wooded backyard when he found a complete, partially buried human skeleton. So, like I said, he wasn't great at burying bodies. He didn't. It says he had great work ethic, but did he really have great work ethic if you don't bury the bodies at least 6 feet?
It's just the audacity for me, like, you murdered somebody and you dumped them in your backyard and you just
You just dumped them.
you just dump them like, he literally thought nobody it's delusion.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delusional that nobody would find that, or they would just believe you when you like
I mean, they kind of did. Let's see. Um, Baumeister explained to his family that it had been one of his father's dissecting skeletons. He had it stored in their garage before eventually burying it again in the garden. I don't know why his father had dissecting skeletons. I don't know if he was a doctor or what, but I didn't do research into his father because I don't care.
right. I just, cannot imagine how traumatized his children must have been when all this came out in the wash. Like, I know his ex-wife was it
I
was pretty horrible.
really, when I hear these stories about murders, or criminals in general, like their families, when I feel how
Yeah.
hurt they are after they're arrested and caught, like it's unbelievably terrible.
I mean, yeah, this whole story is awful.
It's very awful, but the ghosts are crazy. I'm sorry I'm spending so much time on this, but we're gonna get to the ghosts eventually, guys. Just wait. On June 24th, 1996, investigators recovered human bone fragments belonging to at least 11 people buried in the woods at Foxhole Farm. A new search on December 4, 2022 found one bone and identified 20 additional locations where more may be buried. Only 10 victims whose killings were directly linked to Baumeister have been identified since the initial discovery. Three additional remains are still unidentified, although they are all believed to be male and to have been victims of homicide.
And they did actually, literally 5 days ago, announce that they were able to successfully identify an additional victim. I'm not gonna say the person's name, again, out of privacy for them, but, that did just release that they were just 5 days ago, they did identify somebody and were able to give his family some closure, so, that's good. The good news is as technology advances, they're able to, start using newer DNA techniques to find out who these people are, and so that's a little hopeful.
So I did research on the victims, so I would like you to tell me the name later. Because I want to know if it was one of the victims that the ghost actually led them to the bone.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline, but yeah.
Okay. Because there was a red shirt ghost that led one of the owners to a bone.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're getting to that. Um, Although they're all believed to be male and have been victims of homicide, the Hamilton County Coroner's Office have appealed to the public requesting anyone with missing family members from the mid-1980s to mid-1990s in the Indianapolis area to complete a DNA test in an effort to help identify the victim's remains as of January 2024. Forensic experts continue working in an effort to identify nearly 10,000 portions of human remains recovered from an unknown number of victims at Fox Hollow Farm. So now I'm getting to the survivor of Herb Baumeister. According to accounts provided by the survivor and reported by investigators, the key encounter that helped lead to Baumeister's identification occurred in the 1990s. The survivor met a man at a gay bar who introduced himself as Brian Smart. Brian invited him to his mansion for a swim in his indoor pool. During the visit, Baumeister allegedly attempted to strangle the survivor with a hose during a discussion about autoerotic asphyxiation. The survivor was able to stop the attack and stay alive.
No, it's fine.
He acted like he had passed out when when he opened his eyes, Brian, or Herbert Baumeister, was surprised that he was awake. A year later, the survivor saw the man again at the same bar and had a friend record his license plate number, which was then traced to Herb Baumeister. It is believed that this is how Herb killed all of his victims by luring them into the pool and strangling them under the pretense of erotic asphyxiation. Um, I also heard in the documentary that this guy that survived was significantly bigger than Herbert Baumeister.
Oh.
So he tried the erotic asphyxiation. Um, the survivor acted like he passed out, and he opened his eyes, surprised Herbert Baumeister that he wasn't dead, and they went to bed. Um, and he warned him that he's not going to take any more of his shit because he's kinda skeptical, but he still stayed the night. It is believed that this is how Herbert killed all of his victims, by luring them into the pool and strangling them under the pretense of erotic asphyxiation.
So, I mean, obviously this guy woke up, so it sounds to me like honestly Herbert was a little bit of a like he wasn't brave enough to do it while somebody was conscious as could fight him off. Like he had to wait until they were in like a vulnerable state to do what he was going to do.
Yeah. He wanted control over the situation, obviously. That's, a lot of murders, and this guy was significantly bigger than Herbert Baumeister. It's hard to say why Herbert didn't do anything to him while he was asleep because they went to bed after this. But he was significantly bigger than Herbert Baumeister.
Could you imagine how this guy must have felt when all this came out, knowing that he is probably one of the only people to survive an encounter with this guy?
Yeah,
And thank God that he had like the foresight to play along and to, you know, save himself. Like he saved his own life by fast thinking.
yeah.
So that's crazy.
And he was he was suspicious of him after him strangling him or trying to
I think
strangle
I
him.
would be suspicious as well.
And he warned him not to touch him like that again.
Yeah.
And I mean, he probably went to bed with him because
Well, where would he have gone?
exactly, it's in the middle of nowhere. How is he gonna get home? So, really anything beyond those facts is speculation on their relationship or whatever. But, so a few of the things, general things that were noticed, um, I'm getting into the ghost now finally, ghost of Fox Hollow Farm. They people in the home around the pool area have a sense of dread. They have regularly seen a hooded figure in the yard. They investigators have said they've captured pictures of spirits in the ripple of the water in the pool.
Like images?
Yeah, of faces.
Oh.
And I saw the pictures, and it could be the phenomenon where you just see faces or elephants and nothing, kinda like clouds and stuff, but, I mean, it does kinda look like faces in the water of the pool.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, it is, and so when a family moved into Fox Hollow Farm, the husband recalls immediately feeling uneasy on the property.
Can we just also highlight so that people understand, like, when the people that bought this property and I don't know if they're the owners now. I think it's been sold
It's
since
been
then.
sold since then, so
But
they're not the
the
same
people
owners.
who originally bought this before, like, everything started coming out about the hauntings, the house had been completely remodeled.
Yes,
Like, it had
remodeled.
been gutted, it didn't look like it did when these crimes occurred. I believe that they bought it was it in, like, the early 2000s? Like, around 2008?
Yeah, it was around the 2000s, and, it was significantly cheaper, and they were like, "Well, what's the catch? What's wrong with this house?" And they realized that they'd kinda heard about this house before, and they're like, "Oh, was this Herbert Baumeister's house?" And they told him, "Yes," and they took it anyway.
It was a really good deal that they didn't
Great
feel like
deal.
they could pass up, and I believe in the documentary because I watched some of it with you, like, they were skeptics. They were not people that really
Right.
believed in, like, ghosts or, hauntings, right?
Yeah,
Or am I
they
making that up?
I mean, um, so it's really funny. You see this pattern all the time in hauntings. Usually the husband's oblivious. Usually the wife's picked on the most. The wife or the kids are like focused on the most, and the wife and the kids are trying to tell the father that something's going on, and the father dismisses it and says, "Oh, it's just a deer," or "Oh, it's just the wind. It's not ghosts." And and then the kid picks up an imaginary friend and that's the typical ghost story. But then the father starts getting attacked and then they go
Now
through
that the man's affected, it's like,
right.
now this is legit.
Yeah.
This is real.
They go through the whole am I crazy phase. Did I talk about this last
We
episode?
did, yeah, the stages of haunting.
The stages of a haunting. Am I crazy? Is this just happening in my head? And then it's like, "Oh, this is happening. Yes, this is ghost. Now let's just hope it's not malevolent. Let's hope it's a friendly ghost." And then it's malevolent, and then they call in the psychics and the ghost investigators, and then they can't get rid of it, and then eventually they move. And then God that people luck out and it doesn't
Follow them.
follow them
Yeah.
like it can. So, they report shadowy figures lurking in the woods. Are those trees or are those shadow figures? I hate shadow figures. How often do you see shadow figures? Or how often have you seen shadow figures? Because I've seen a lot of shadow figures.
So, I haven't seen anything recently. As a kid,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Uh, I have, like, vivid memories of being so, I guess, side story. So my uncle, he was in the Air Force, and he was stationed in Minot, North Dakota back in, like, 95 and 95, 96. And, we went to visit him, and I can remember laying in bed between my parents in the basement and seeing what looked like bats, but, they weren't bats, but they were just all around the bed, just circling, and it freaked me out, and I remember putting my head under the covers because I was obviously, like, freaked out, but I didn't wanna wake my parents up. So, yeah, that's probably the most notable time that I've seen a shadow figure or shadow creature. I can't think of any time other than that. I'm one of those people, thankfully, that I don't suffer from, like, sleep paralysis. I've never seen the Hat Man or anything like that. The worst thing that happens to me is that recurring, dream that a spider is dropping down. That freaks me out. That's a recurring night terror that I have. But aside from that, I don't think I've ever seen any, like, shadow people except for that instance in Minot, or when I was a kid, sometimes out of the corner of my eye or something.
So I see a lot of shadow figures when I astral project. A man swimming in the farm's pool was allegedly pulled underwater by an unseen force. And a person also reported feeling a hand touch their back while searching for beetles in the pool. 2006, Rob, Vicky, and their two teenage sons moved to Fox Hollow Farm. It was on sale for cheap. as we already went over. They realized that they had heard of the house before and that it was owned by Herbert Baumeister. So one day, the two teen boys had been tracking gravel into the swimming area, and Vicky was vacuuming up the gravel, and the vacuum just cuts out. The cord had come out of the power outlet. So she assumes that she accidentally yanked it out of the wall while she was cleaning and she got too far away from the wall. But she plugs it back in and goes back to vacuuming, and the vacuum goes out again. And it surprised her because she made sure this time to give it enough slack and she was being cautious. But at this point, she thinks she's going crazy. See the crazy stage.
The denial.
She thinks she's going crazy. Like, how did it move a foot away from the outlet? It was like the cord was thrown. She watched the wall where it was plugged in this time, and she sees the plug pop out of the wall and get thrown
Oh.
with her eyes, and it scared the shit out of her. So that's the first instance that's talked about. Now, Rob, the husband, worked at a car dealership, and one of his employees, Joe, was chronically late for work. And it got to the point that he had a talk with them about why he was late all the time. And Joe told him that he lived over an hour away and he just couldn't get to work on time because of traffic and the distance.
I can vouch that Indianapolis traffic
Oh,
is
it's terrible. I hate driving
awful.
in Indianapolis.
I'm sure it was even worse back then.
Yeah, I hate the highway through Indianapolis almost as bad as I hate the highway going through Atlanta. Um So, Rob, because Joe was looking for a closer place to live and he just hadn't had luck finding somewhere, Rob invited him to come live in the apartment that they had on their land in Foxhole Farm.
How generous.
Yeah, it was very generous. So he rented it out to Joe. And a couple days later, they get Joe moved in within a day. And Rob leaves. Joe's exhausted from the move and he's about to go to sleep with his dog, Fred. And he goes to sleep and he has this dream where he is being chased by someone but doesn't know who. It causes him to actually act out his dream and he begins to sleepwalk.
Oh.
So he gets up from his bed and runs as if he needs to get out of the apartment. He runs into the door frame, falls to the ground, and knocks the glass over, cutting his hands. Hmm.
That's probably way worse than my recurring spider reenactment.
Yeah, Kate, like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night to Caden screaming and scampering around the bed. She has these night terrors where a spider is falling from the ceiling or coming down a cobweb from the ceiling, right?
Yeah, it's
Over
like
you.
I'm like half awake and like I open my eyes and I see it lowering and it freaks me out. Or lately it's not been lowering, it's been I like wake up and I'm on my side and it's like crawling across the bed. And so then I jump up. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's a spider."
Oh, those are real spiders.
Stop. It's not even funny.
5 spiders crawl up your butt
That
a
is
year
shut up.
in your sleep.
Shut up.
Um, yeah, no, it's terrifying, and I wake up and I try to calm her down and tell her it's a dream, but she's still frantically screaming. Um, I really feel bad for Kaden because she's so scared of spiders. Even in our wedding vows, one of my promises was to kill every spider or get rid of every spider for her when she found them.
And I make good on that.
I will hear terrifying screams from the bathroom, and find out it was just a spider. And I'm I'm thinking Caden's dying of something. So that's always a concern.
I mean, I can't help it though. I know it's completely irrational. I understand that. I'm not one of those people that think I have a valid phobia. I know it's completely ridiculous, but I can't help it. And
Mhm.
people are like, "Oh, why don't you do exposure therapy?" Well, fuck that. I'm not
Well, you just
touching
gotta dive in a pool full of
spiders.
spiders.
Well, no,
Ugh.
like people are like, "Well, why don't you try like holding one like a pet one?" No, absolutely not. The closest thing that I think that I have come to like being like, "That's a chill spider." I do think that jumping spiders are cute. You know which
Oh,
ones.
yeah,
The
they're
little
adorable.
fluffy ones. I don't wanna touch it, and I don't want it to touch me. I would freak the heck out, but I can admire the fact that they're cute and they're very intelligent, so I don't think that I would feel right about Devin assassinating one, but I would want it out of my house. Like, it doesn't need to live in here with me, so
I mean, every now and then, I'll keep a spider in the corner to get the other bugs.
well, if they stay in their lane, it's
They
fine,
usually do.
we have that one in the bathroom.
Felipe?
Yeah, and he lives under the vanity in the corner, but he stays down there. He doesn't come out in the day, he's only out at night, and he's fine because he
Mhm.
doesn't go anywhere else that I know of,
I
at
think
least.
spiders are cute. Like, most spiders are cute.
I
I just have a fear. I mean, I do have a fear of them crawling places, like my butt, but I do think they're cute. So, a couple days later, Vicky comes home and she finds Rob painting the side of the house. And out of the corner of her eye, she begins to see something. And it's a man with a red t shirt standing there staring at them. And he turns around and begins walking further into the forest. She looks, and before she says anything to Rob, she sees the man's legs vanish and then the rest of him. She turns to Rob and says, I just saw someone in a red shirt. Rob said someone was checking out the house because, of course, because it belonged to a serial killer. So, of course, there's looky loos.
I mean, that tracks. I feel like that's a completely
But the guy,
reasonable.
but I mean, looky loos don't just disappear gradually.
Well, I mean, I think I can relate to Rob. I think I would be skeptical at first because there's nothing else happening at this point, to him at least, so
Yeah, if we were in a haunted house and you kept coming to me saying that you're seeing spirits or saying that paranormal things are happening, I'll just be like, "Oh, it's probably just a deer.
it's just a deer.
It's just a deer."
It's just a kangaroo and a
Oh,
mustache.
yeah, a kangaroo and a mustache. No, I mean, like, I actually heard somebody use that. Like, a guy said, "Oh, it's probably just a deer," or "It's probably just the wind," like Scooby
We
Doo.
live in the middle of New York City, but it's just a deer.
Right.
There's no deer anywhere within, like, a 30-mile
Were you making
radius.
what Amityville is in New York, right? Were you making an Amityville
I wasn't
reference?
making an Amityville reference, and also Amityville is in New York, but it's in New York State, not New
Yeah.
York City, so there are deer there,
Oh, okay.
so
Well, thank you for clarifying, Miss Know-it-all, Miss
I mean,
Expert.
it's a suburb. It's not in the city, so
I'm just glad we don't have to talk about pig demons. Okay. So, later that night around okay, this is gonna get terrifying, guys. Have you heard of the ghost
No,
stories?
no, I've
Okay,
only ever, like, really my only exposure to this case has been the true crime portion,
put
so,
my notes
like
away. Put my notes
I'm
away,
not
because
looking at them. I'm
okay,
not looking at
don't
them.
look at I wanna surprise you with this, 'cause I still I think it scares me so much that I think about it all the time.
Oh,
Kinda like the Elisa Lam story. Can we cover that because
yeah,
it reminds me of paranormal,
sure. I
even though
mean, it
it's
is paranormal.
not really.
Well, I think
Like,
there is.
it's impossible for her to have wound up in that water tank.
We're sidestepping
Okay,
paranormal.
sorry. So later that night around 11 or 12, Joe is in his apartment doing dishes. He hears a knock at the door. He's mid dishes, his hands are wet. He turns the water off and says, "Hey, just a second," as he's drying off his hands. But the knocking grows louder. The knocking is constant. The knocking kept going as he opened the door, but when he looked outside, no one was there. The knocking was happening as he opened the door.
Oh.
So he would have seen someone run away or something, but instead, the knocking stopped and no one was there. He goes back into the apartment and locks the door real quick. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he spots a man walking
Oh, no.
into his bedroom. His dog and him freak out and search the bedroom, but no one is in there.
Oh, no, I don't like that at all.
I don't like it either. But this is even the freaky part.
That's
I know.
that's not the freaky part.
That's
There's a
not the
random
freakiest part.
man in my house in my bedroom, and I can't find him anywhere, and
Yeah,
I have to sleep here,
right.
by the way.
Joe had been in the apartment for about 3 weeks, and he developed a routine of taking his dog out at night along the driveway. After witnessing the paranormal, he decided to swing. You're not editing that out.
I
It's cheesy, but you're not editing it out.
I
Okay.
won't. So
After witnessing the paranormal, he decided to swing by the main house to see if Rob and Vicky were up because in his mind, maybe this might explain the knocking that had been occurring. He's still in the crazy stage. He notices the main house is completely dark, so Vicky and Rob were obviously asleep. He didn't walk very far before his dog stopped and took off into the tree line. Before Joe runs after his dog, he looks up and he sees a man in a red t-shirt with his back turned, walking deeper into the forest. And then the man in the red shirt slowly disappears.
oh.
The guy's in a red t-shirt and he's known as the red t-shirt ghost because that's how they see him. He's a disappearing red t-shirt ghost. And I was thinking, what would my ghost outfit look like?
Well, your ghost outfit would definitely be something paisley.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I'm in my deathbed and I'm about to die, I would have to jump up if I remember, or you have to remind me if you're there, and I would have to jump up real quick and put on a nice suit before I die because I don't want to spend an eternity in like pajamas or something or a hospital gown.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think I would wanna spend eternity in a hospital gown, but the thought of wearing, like, a full suit for the rest of forever
that's
is
how I want to
just
be seen, like as a ghost.
exhausting.
As a ghost. Well, I don't have to put it on every time I'm a ghost, Caden. I don't think they have to put on their
How
clothes
do you know?
before they go out as a ghost.
How do you know?
Because I don't think he would wear a red t-shirt and jeans every time he came out as a ghost.
I'm invalid. I don't know. That is a concept that does fascinate me though, like,
The clothes.
your ghost outfit.
But what if before I died I put on like a old Victorian outfit, like a doublet?
You wanna wear a doublet?
If I put on a doublet and then I'm at like a modern home that I died in and people are like, "Whoa, why is this 16th 16th century or 1600s guy in our house?" That's kind of weird. Like wearing a Renaissance outfit, that would be really cool.
Something just completely out of the period, the
Or
time
a
period.
Revolutionary War uniform, that would be dope. I don't know. It's something I think about is how I'll just be dressed as a ghost. Is that conceited?
No, I feel like it's a thought that other people have had.
Okay. All right. Um,
But to be fair, it's not like this guy, like, knew, nobody really knows when they're gonna die, but, like, I
oh,
feel like,
yeah. I mean, I'm
he was
not blaming him. I'm just saying I'm gonna wear suits every day just in case. Um, or something nice every day. I just want to look good after I'm dead. Um, He notices the house is completely dark, so Vicky and Rob were obviously asleep, and he wasn't walking very far before his dog stopped and took off into the tree line. Before Joe runs after his dog, he looks up and sees a man in a red t-shirt with his back turned, walking deeper into the forest. And then the man in the red shirt slowly disappears. The dog is running toward the man in red, so Joe is chasing his dog, and when Joe reaches the dog stops and faces him, looking uneasy and looking where Joe is standing. Joe begins to turn to his left, I believe, and sees the man in the red right beside him.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Joe panics and runs with the dog back to the apartment. He pulls a Scooby Doo, like Shaggy and Scooby Doo, runs back to his apartment. The next morning, Joe tells Rob and Vicky about everything. As he's telling them, Vicky begins to get upset and tells Joe that she saw the man in red in the same area of the woods.
I don't like that.
And I remember in the documentary, the husband's like, "Well, I didn't see anything at all." And Vicky didn't tell me any of this before the documentary. And he just, you know, um, that's not how he sounds. I respect him for what he went through. Okay. The night Joe is in his apartment and really on edge. While he is in his apartment, he hears knocking on his door again. He yells, "Who is it?" He can see the door shaking as it's being pounded on, and he rips the door open really fast, and no one is there again. He looks at the knocker itself. Listen to this. He looks at the knocker itself, and it's being held up in midair away from the door.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, how do
Like
you
they
just
were, pulling
it's
it
like
back to knock.
it's like perpendicular,
Oh,
it's like
no.
held up like mid-knock, and then it swings down to knock on the door one more time. In absolute terror, he slams the door shut and locks it.
'Cause that's gonna help you.
Right. The doorknob on the door begins to turn slowly to open position. Then the door bursts open, breaking the lock.
Oh my gosh.
He runs out and he sees no one there again. Then he turns around to see a man in white who is soaked from head to toe, running at him with a muted scream.
Ah,
And the man in white runs past him and disappears outside. Can you imagine that?
that's terrifying.
That is the most terrifying part of
That
this.
gave me
It
the
haunts me.
chills.
It
That
haunts
literally gave
me.
me the chills. I could not. I would leave. I would
I
leave
would shit myself.
immediately.
I would walk to a bus stop or something.
I would just keep going. Like, just get me out of here.
Joe takes off and runs to Rob and Vicky's with his dog. That's
Yeah.
what I would do.
Yeah, me too. Like, get me out of here.
So they are no longer trying to convince themselves that they're imagining things, but instead, they're at the stage where they're trying to reassure themselves that these are friendly ghosts, that these are just the victims of Herbert Baumeister.
That seems like a such a friendly ghost.
I don't know if you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah. No, I think I'm
There's
picking
some
it up.
foreboding. Um, but instead, they're trying to reassure themselves that these are friendly ghosts. These are just victims of the murder. They started looking online at the victims and they identified that they had identified. And Joe points to one of them and says, "That's the man in white that was in my apartment." So he sees one of the victims and it was the ghost.
Oh, no.
And I didn't find anything about the man in the red shirt, so I don't know if they identified him.
Yeah.
Um Joe walks with his dog around the area. They see the ghost in the red shirt, and on the ground, he finds a human femur bone just laying out on the trail.
Oh,
So where the red t-shirt man was leading them was a bone. So I speculate that he's trying to lead him to his remains so he can be laid to rest. But
yeah.
that's just me. The man in red, yeah, I wrote this down. Man in red may have been leading them to his bones. They call the detective and tell them they found a human bone, and they ask the detective to come to the property and explain to them where um all the murders and everything occurred, because they're getting these hauntings and they want to be more familiar with what to expect. And he tells them that most of the murders happened in the pool. And I guess that's based on the testimony of the survivor of Herbert Baumeister. That's the example they have to go on. And a couple of days later, Joe is in his apartment doing work on his computer, and he hears a metallic scraping sound coming from the kitchen. He walks to the kitchen to find that all of his knives have been pulled out of the butcher's block and placed in the sink in a row, lined up neatly.
Oh.
He looks around his room and notices cut marks in his island. New cut marks, not old ones.
Oh.
They're obviously new cut marks. And he gets his iPhone out to ask the ghost some questions. Of course, he's got an iPhone, you know,
Yeah.
I love iPhones. Okay. He gets his iPhone out to ask the ghost some questions. He hits record and he asks who is in the kitchen. The dog starts growling, and the EVP that was recorded said, "The married one." So, do you know, out of all the people that died that were associated with Fox Hollow Farm, do you know which one was the married one?
The murderer
Herbert Baumeister was the only one married. All of the victims were single
out of the identified ones.
out of the identified ones.
So oh, that's so creepy because of the
The
knife.
knives, and he identified himself as the married one. Herbert Baumeister was the only one associated to the
Oh,
property
that
that
gave
was
me
married.
chills.
Yeah.
Oh, that oh gosh. No, I don't like that. Did they move after that?
I don't know, I didn't do research on when they moved, I just know that they moved and it switched owners several times.
Oh, that's so creepy.
I think my sisters actually talked to one of the owners
We
because
need
she
to
lived around there or something.
we need to ask about that.
Yeah, we need to ask about that. Um, and I love Kentucky and I love Indiana so much because there's so many different haunted places. Like, when we start paranormal investigating, I wanna do paranormal investigations into, like, we've already investigated Waverly Hills, but I would like to do that as a Patreon thing,
Yeah.
for
Or
our
maybe just a
listeners.
YouTube thing.
YouTube,
We're still deciding where we're gonna put some of this stuff. Patreon will definitely get exclusive,
I
like,
want
behind the scenes stuff
I
for
want some,
sure.
like, really juicy exclusive content
Yeah,
for
for Patreon, but we may also put some stuff up on YouTube once we get to that point, but that's some time from now.
we gotta get some of my unhinged bloopers onto Patreon because, the listeners don't get to hear my, like, really dark, unhinged jokes on here, but if you pay, on Patreon, if you join on Patreon, I wanna see about convincing Caden. If you all want, you all will have to comment and let me know if you really, we don't know what our audience is kinda like, so we wanna find out if you wanna hear my unhinged jokes.
He has a lot.
my dark jokes, so I can tell you this episode, we did it in one recording, but Caden has a lot of editing to do. A l
Patreon will definitely get will get the bloopers. We've decided. So they'll get the bloopers, the behind the scene the funny bloopers, should I say. Some of them are just us missaying things and then we just say it again. So but
I mean, we
the
can do that.
funny, the good stuff, the juicy stuff you guys will definitely get. So if you're interested, join our Patreon, and that's patreon.com/paranominon.
Yeah, because
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a wild time. We're also gonna have a Discord chat, so you guys will get plenty of Devin's unhinged behavior.
so what did you think about the Fox Hollow Farm story? Because I really, borrowed from a lot of sources, um, a lot of different articles, that Horror of Fox Hollow Farm ghost documentary, um, Mr. Ballin
Yeah,
had a ghost story the ghost stories on there, and, he really captured a lot of the experience.
we love Mr. Ballin, by the way.
Love
Shout
Mr.
out Mr.
Ballin.
Ballin. Yeah, no, I find it fascinating. It combines two of my favorite things, which are true crime and paranormal. So this was a really exciting episode for me in general. But I didn't know about that. That's really creepy, and it also makes me wonder, like, why the ghost had the knife and the like, you know what I mean? Like, different types of I don't know. It just it opens up a whole there's so much that we don't know about the crime itself because, there was only one person that we know of who survived an encounter with him, and by the time that, these poor people were found, like, the remains were just bones.
Yeah.
So we don't know, at least I don't know. I don't know if things have been released, within the crime notes, but we don't know really, like, the details of what happened.
Well,
So it's just that's a very interesting portion of the story to me. And the man in white, that
that
is terrifying.
that was the part I've been talking about the entire time that haunts me. Like,
Yeah.
the muted scream is what haunts me.
Ugh, I don't know. I just and I'm trying to be really mindful because again,
And plus the fact that he was dripping wet.
I mean, again, just trying to be mindful and respectful of the fact that this is still an active case. It's an active investigation. This is still an active crime scene. There's a lot we don't know. So we do want to express our deepest respect and
Sympathies for
condolences
the
for the
families that were
families.
affected.
Yeah, because I mean it really is just an awful, awful thing. So, but all that to say, it's interesting to hear these accounts. I I still don't understand why. I understand the practicality of why they bought the property, but
I would've. Like, I'm upset that we weren't ready to buy a home back then in 2006
in
because
middle school.
yeah, oh, yeah, we would've been well, I would've been in high school, because I graduated '09, 2009, but, I am all for buying a haunted house at a good price,
Mm,
as long as it's big, nice, and it's been redone. It doesn't even have to be redone after the murders, like, it just has to be big, nice, and cheap, and I'll be cool with it. Now Caden see, because I'm a wizard and I can deal with ghosts, but Caden, you're not for buying a murder house, right?
no, I think this one specifically is weird to me though because it was still like an active crime scene.
Yeah, there's still bone
Like I
fragments.
don't, you know, I'm not saying that I would buy a house that somebody was brutally murdered. I don't think I would. That's just dark residual energy.
I wouldn't with kids because they might go outside and play and find some bone fragments, but I would if we were just, we don't have kids, but if it's just me and you, I would've bought it and resold it. We would've lived it in it for a while and I would've been fine with it, but because we don't go outside and play in the forest and stuff.
Well, it seems like outside doesn't really matter now, does it?
What was I gonna say? Oh, well, I don't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, we have respect and deep sympathies for the families of everybody that went missing along I-70 and who has yet to be identified and who has been identified at this murder. But um, I hope one day we stumble upon really big, really cheap house because I would be fine with living there with a good bargain. Caden, however, she's a wimp, and she would not. That's it for tonight's episode, but remember, the strange stories never really end. We'll be back next week with another tale that'll keep you guessing what's out there. Until then, stay curious and maybe keep the light on.
Thanks for listening to Paranomenon. If you like this episode, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, and help us grow by sharing it with a friend who also enjoys the things that go bump in the night. See you soon.